And the fact of making sure that you're going to be high enough is really one of the biggest fears. The biggest fear is I'm so used to for, 15, 16 years when I tap, I rotate like a jump. I don't go upside down. My feet, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's the same takeoff as a regular jump that you do. However, you have to go, but it's a flip. When I did a backflip on the ice or off the ice, I only did a walkout like Saria does.
Yeah.
That's the only way I could do it. So I had all these fears in my head. Like, how am I going to land? Am I going to land on one foot? What's going to happen when I'm upside down? So I did a lot of backflips off tables, off walls, to get the stretch out when you land.
Where do you find a table to backflip from? Like, I just have this image in my head now of you just walking along and you see a table, just flip. You see a chair, flip like a skateboarder today, just flipping off.
Yeah, I was like that. I was like that as a kid. And then, even then, I was probably 21 years old, and I was still like that because I just so needed to be more.
Mm.
Then there was I just knew there was more to me. And, there was two people said something in my life that stuck forever. What Mabel said, and the day I stepped off that ice at sectionals, when I decided that was it,
yeah,
I stepped off the ice and my mom was standing there, and my mother did not come to competitions with me. I moved out at 14. So here we are all these years later, because when my back went out, I went to my mom's. So she's with me, and I get off the ice and I'm crying. I'm not crying because of how I skated. I'm crying because in my heart and in my mind, I was never going to see anybody again. The only time you see people, like if you go to a track meet, you see all the people from all your friends from different schools, or you know what I mean? So I thought, this is it. My mother held me, and she looked me in my eye, and she says to me, she goes, Rory, your spotlight is in a bigger arena. And it made sense. Mabel told me not to quit. It wasn't just about winning nationals. It was about making an impact. And where you were going, somebody's already been there. Debbie had been there. Did she make that impact we wanted? No, because they took away from it. They took away from what she did as kind of what we were talking about earlier. And instead of seeing who she is, let's talk about, why she's not what we thought she could be.
Yeah.
Instead of all the positive things that she's doing or she did for us in the sport. And I say positive, she did that for me too. I got to be there when the first African American won nationals. I was right there. And that meant something. So when I saw that, it's like, okay, let's, you're rooting. So it wasn't for me to be the first African American to win the Olympics. Yes, that's going to make an impact. And I keep saying it's going to.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be an African American. It's going to be a black. It's going to make a difference.
Yeah.
One day. But where I could make a difference, and I found out, was my spotlight was in a bigger arena. It was in the professional world. And it was in a place where it was only a spotlight. There were no house lights. You weren't, it was just a whole different, I just have to keep saying arena. It's like going from playing in a jazz club to being at the Super Bowl.
Yeah. different stage
because that
altogether.
manager, all together, different audience, just, an audience where cat backflip, my split jumps, me not being a household name yet. Nobody knowing me. You listen to, and I keep getting videos, and now I listen to those. I like to watch myself skate now. And more than anything, I listen. People don't listen. They're watching the commentators. Like people, when you're watching an amateur event and they're commentating, they're critiquing, they're back and forth. Well, this might cost her the championship, and if she did this better, and then we have the next skater. When you listen to the professional championships that I did, because they then in the 90s created a whole circuit, and I want to say it was for me. And I want to say that because I was the only person in that circuit that wasn't an Olympian.
Yeah.
I was there because the networks wanted me there. So competitions would be held and they'd say, we want Rory, because I was different.
So tell us about the flip. The first time. So we've had the friend has taught you, you're backflipping off tables now. You're wondering what's going to happen in the air. It's a pressure move. You're out on the ice. It's what that day? What happened?
What did it?
Yeah, so
I skated around that rink for 2 months. 2 months with my friend, gearing up for this backflip. And I would, skate, and he was right there. Here's the funny story: is he was smaller than me, and he's like, "Should I put you on a harness?" And I'm like, "You know what? When I finally do this, I'll probably throw you off your feet. I'll get it. I'll do it." And, skating around, preparing. I have kind of a unique preparation because I had to get my mind wrapped around not just gliding backwards and doing a flip. And when I finally did it, it was the easiest thing on the planet. I did it and I landed on my feet, and then I kind of squatted down, so I was gliding backwards in a squat position, laughing. Because I couldn't believe it took me so long to do something that felt so easy once I did it.
It's a graceful thing.
Was it? Thank you.